From small towns to big cities and everywhere in between, we're covering the great things that are happening right now in the USA. This is Positively America with Ernie Anastas.
And hi everyone, I'm Ernie Anastas, and thank you so much for joining us on a program that believes if you try something new, you'll discover more about yourself. New experiences help us become fuller and more interesting people. Now let's take a look at relationships, for example. All kinds: family, personal, business, and a lot more. Relationships can be the launching pad for learning how to handle ourselves in different situations, and also how they can help us make decisions. By the way, if you've ever made a tough decision or a bad one, if you've been told that, guess what? You're not alone. No, my first guest is a real expert in this field. She's an internationally recognized specialist on creating an environment where people feel comfortable talking about their relationships. Nice to welcome Dr. Logan Levkoff to the show. Good to see you here.
Well, nice to see you too. Thanks for having me, and congratulations.
Thank you, Logan. Nice to have you on board. You know, we want to talk about relationships. Very, very popular topic with so many people. How do we know if we're getting into a good relationship? How do we know?
Well, I think we don't, right? I mean, when we step into a new relationship or partnership, we don't know. But I do think that there are some really important questions we should be asking ourselves, even starting with something as simple as, why do I want to be in a relationship? Because if we're looking for someone else to fulfill us,
right,
that's probably not the greatest reason. Like if we don't like who we are ourselves, there is no magical person, right, who's going to all of a sudden make us feel whole. So asking ourselves, why do we want a relationship? What qualities are important in a relationship? What qualities are important in a partner? And I think the biggest thing we forget is to not just ask ourselves, what do we want in someone significant in our life, but do we have those qualities, right? Do we ever turn the mirror back and say, are we the kind of person we would want to date?
Right. It's good stuff. I mean, if you're saying, this is what you have to watch out for if you make a mistake. Supposing you get involved in a relationship and you say, this isn't right for me. How do you end that? How do you handle that?
First, by acknowledging that ending things is always hard. That's okay. And I think that so many times we stay in, whether they're romantic relationships, where there are friendships, things that are toxic for a long time because we're afraid of hurting someone's feelings and we're afraid of conflict. Yep. But, the more we suppress that, the worse it gets. So, own your discomfort and say, I'm having trouble having this conversation with you, but I'm not happy, and I can't imagine you're happy either. So unless we speak up for ourselves, no one is a mind reader. We expect that people, even in long-term relationships, are going to magically know what we're thinking at any given moment. I don't know. My experience.
Be honest, right? Be upfront about the whole thing. But Logan, it's important that we learn about relationships from good role models. Doesn't that help us a lot?
It helps us a tremendous amount if we see people in our lives growing up that have relationships or the qualities of a relationship that we would like to emulate. That being said, we do know that lots of people grow up with pretty crappy relationship role models. And that does not mean they are doomed for failure. What it means is that they know what they don't want, and they know what those red flags are. So we just have to make sure we don't perpetuate that, get into a cycle of mimicking what we had before or what we watched in our lives if it hasn't been successful.
Are you also saying that we should trust our instincts, how we feel, what we're going through, what we're experiencing in this relationship?
Yes, I do think that we need to, all of us need to do a better job at trusting our instincts. And that can be hard to do, particularly when we get bombarded with information 24 hours a day about the way in which relationships and life and love are supposed to take place and the trajectory they're supposed to go on. And you know what? Like, that's great for some people, but not all relationships, not everything, what's fulfilling for one person may not be fulfilling for someone else. So if it's working for us, fantastic. If something feels off, we have to deal with it.
Okay, so let's say you're in a good relationship, okay? And that's a nice thing. How do you nurture it? What do you do to make sure that it stays that way and grows and builds and gets even better?
So first, by acknowledging that it is going to grow and develop, and intimacy is going to change over time. The reality is that it is never going to be physically or the same way it was first met someone, because there was novelty, it was new. But we can build deeper intimacy. And that means nurturing a relationship means still spending quality time, having these amazing, thoughtful conversations, not taking the person in your life for granted,
right,
and reminding yourself that there's always more to learn about someone. It's not just that like you hit a milestone and then you know everything.
You must have so much fun doing what you do, working with people and enjoying, the fruits of what you've done to see people happy. I'm sure they come back to you and say, thank you, right? You get a lot of thank yous?
I do get a lot of thank yous. And by the way, hopefully my own husband says thank you for all of it.
That. All right, Dr. Logan, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure having you on the show today, okay?
Thank you.
Coming up next year on the show, a famous supermodel shares her secrets to success and a happier life. You're going to meet her when we come right back. And hello again. My next guest on Positively America is a true supermodel. She has graced the covers of so many top magazines, from Sports Illustrated to Vogue and 500 others. You heard right, 500 other magazine covers. She's also an amazing businesswoman, entrepreneur, Instagram star, and social media personality. And here's the very familiar face of Carol Alt. Happy you're here, and welcome to the show, Carol.
Hey, Ernie, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's such a pleasure to have you on the program. You know, we've known each other for a while, and you are just super. Now, pardon that pun. You're truly our America's supermodel, and you're still working so much, doing so many great things in the world of business. I guess maybe the secret to not slowing down is to find something you really love and keep at it, right? You still love it, right? Don't you?
You know, Ernie, I absolutely love what I do. It's so funny when people ask me, oh, should I become a model? Should I become an actress? I said, if you can think of doing something else, this is not what you should be doing. This is a job that is all-encompassing, and you really need the passion of the heart. You know, when I am on the set, like here with you, it's the happiest I am. I'm happy on the set.
Well, we can tell that you're happy on the set for sure. And you know, Carol, a lot of people are saying, oh, she's so happy. What's her secret?
What's she drinking, right?
No. That's water in the cup, I know. But let me ask you something, because we're all human and we get down from time to time. What keeps you so upbeat? I mean, it can't always be easy juggling all of your responsibilities, but you're an uplifting person. Where does that all
Ernie,
come from?
I think that you could choose to be a negative Nelly, or you could choose to be a positive Penny. I mean, that's it. You choose that. I mean, I ruined my white dress the other day. I could have chose that, oh my gosh, I ruined my favorite white dress, or I could choose that yesterday I found a girl who will remake my white dress and any other dress that I want. So now I have something positive that came out of that. I mean, in the moment, of course, you could be upset, but when you're overall, if you look at it, the things that are really important, as you know, for me, number one is your health.
Yeah. Right.
And after that, everything is like, okay, it's a game. It's a game. You got to play the game, and who comes out on top. And that's the way I look at it. And if I feel like I'm playing a game, it has a happy connotation to the whole thing.
Well, you know what? You have a lot of games that you play. I mean, good games. Good games. And you participate in so many ways because your dad, I mean, you've got a great career, but your dad was a fire chief in the Bronx. You learned a lot from him and the foundation. And you go out there, you help people, and you contribute a lot of good ideas. Tell me why you're doing so much work with charity, particularly with your dad's foundation and all the good that you're doing, this charity work. We love it. It's great.
Well, I think it's important to give back. I have to say, Ernie, when I was younger, I was so involved in what I was doing, I really wasn't looking around the world. And there came a point where I had lost balance. I was working so hard that I had no personal life. My marriage had fallen apart. I had no friends. I barely saw my family. And I was sitting in Toronto shooting the show called Amazon. And I thought, what do I have? I have this career, but at any moment they could cancel my show. And then what do I have to fall back on? So for me, there was no balance. So when I took a step back, I met Alexei, my boyfriend at the time. I met Alexei, and I realized I wanted balance. I wanted him in my life. I wanted work. And when I stepped back from work, all of a sudden, there was time that I could be with Alexei, but then there was this blank time. So I'd work, I had a boyfriend, but then I had this blank time. And in that blank time, I looked up for the first time. I looked up and I realized there's so much to be done in this world.
Yeah, so much to be done in the world for sure. Let's talk about relationships. We mentioned your dad a few minutes ago, but let's also include your family. I know that you have 4 siblings, and with that many people in the family, you've learned a lot and sort of become an expert. So give us your wrap on the importance of those relationships. How do they work?
I mean, relationships are everything. You know, if when things go wrong with my health or with my work, I turn to my sisters and my mother. They're the most unbelievable source of comfort to me. Or my cats during COVID. So, you know, I work with the, Denise's Rescue out of Washington Heights, and I rescue cats. I do that because during COVID, my cats were a great source of comfort to me. And I want people all around to have that kind of comfort.
Yeah.
Something to turn back and look on and say, this thing helped me through. My family does that, my animals do that. And you know, a positive attitude does that, Ernie, and friends like you do that.
Oh, thank you so much, and you're the best. I mean, I really appreciate it. The great Carol, supermodel, but also a superhuman being. I thank you so much for being here, okay?
Thank you so much, Ernie. Good luck with your show. I think it's a great idea.
Wonderful. Thanks, Carol. And more Positively America when we come right back. Hi there. We are so happy that you're here. This is a show that a lot of people are watching to learn more about Positively America. You know, we hear the word mentor a lot. It's kind of a very special role in guiding us, someone that you can learn from and look up to as an invaluable asset, especially for young women. Well, I want you to meet someone who has spent about 10 years at one of the world's largest apparel makers, VF Sportswear. She was president and oversaw a $1.2 billion global brand, Nautica. And here's the very talented Karen Murray joining us right now. Hi, Karen. How are you?
Hi, Ernie. How are you? Thank you for that intro.
Well, thanks for being on the show, and thanks for being part of this wonderful program. I'm so happy that you're here. You know, you've had such great success. I want people to hear from you. Did you enjoy it? Was it good? Was it fun?
I loved every minute of it. I don't think there was a day that I woke up that I didn't say, I can't wait to get into the office. I absolutely loved it. And that's a 40-year career. So I feel so fortunate that I had that opportunity. So
that's
yeah,
great.
I loved everything.
Well, you've had such a great run, and you're still doing things. I'd like to ask you something. People who are watching us, was it easier to do it years ago than it is today in terms of success? Is it more difficult now?
You know, no. Ernie, it's not. I mean, I'm obviously a lot older. I might not have the same amount of energy, although I still think I have a ton of passion and energy. But I also changed careers really late. I had the same career for 40 years, and I was a wholesaler or an operator, running different brands, like you said, at VF. And now I'm a retailer. So I worked with retailers my whole career, and now I'm a retailer. So I have a different kind of passion and excitement and curiosity about work. Yeah.
You know, there's a great quote. It says, it's never too late to be what you might have been. So many times we can try different things in our life and be really successful at it. Let me ask you this. People who are listening, watching, and saying, I would like to be successful like her. What does it take? What does it take, Karen?
You know, I think I always think about the attributes that I pulled on or worked with most throughout my career. And one of them, if not the most important, was having compassion for people. No matter what job I was at, I always had compassion. I think I was always a great listener, and that's really important so that you learn. There is no doubt that business expertise is critical, and that is just time and experience, just being in the job. But honestly, probably I'd say mental agility, because things are constantly changing. And if you're adaptable, it works. But if you're not adaptable, that's where I see people fall down.
I can see that.
But if you're adaptable and you can handle the changes, it's really great. And be collaborative. So those are important.
Those are important attributes. Karen, let me ask you this. You also have to be tough in the business world. You have to be fair, but you got to be tough. They called you the Velvet Hammer, right? So you have to have a certain amount of that strength in there that really works to lead.
There's no doubt about it. I would say that, people used to tell me that I'm charming or I'm kind, but I was wickedly aggressive. So at the end of the day, I would say the one thing I tried to always be was fair. And again, that word compassion, I cared about people. So even if I had a tough message to deliver, I think they called me Velvet Hammer because I would deliver that tough message, but I would be fair and compassionate about it as I could and say that I was doing it only to make them better or to get ahead or to make them more successful.
Yeah.
But
the other thing,
that's important.
That's right. And you know what? The other thing too, quickly, balance in life, right? You got to have the business world. You have to have your personal life as well. That's important, isn't it?
Really important. And you can't say yes to everything. As difficult as it is, I had to say no to a few things.
Right.
I was trying to be successful in business, but I was also trying to be a great mother.
Right.
I was also trying to do some philanthropic work. So at the end of the day, knowing when to say no will keep you out of trouble because you could overextend yourself and get in a lot of trouble. So you have to know when to say no.
You sure do. You have to have that balance. Karen, such a joy to have you on the show. Continued success. Take care of your family, take care of your business, and come back and see us again sometime, okay?
Hi, Ernie. Great to see you. Good luck with the show.
Thanks a lot. Okay, when we come back, we're asking America, which of your parents are you most like and why? We're going to find out some interesting answers when we come right back.
Welcome back to Positively America. I'm Billy Floyd. This week, we're asking America, which of your parents are you most like and why?
I'm definitely most like my mother because she's a very selfless woman, and I try to carry that trait with me to my friends and my housemates just to be kind of selfless about things.
What a 5-star man over here. How about you?
I think I'm most like my mom as well, just because she's like super creative and fun and like loving and just like loves to give back.
Probably my dad. Everyone says I look just like him. We're spitting images of each other.
Perfect match. I love it. How about you, my friend?
I'm 100% my mother. She homeschooled me most of my life, so I spent like 24/7 with her.
I would say my dad because his good thought-provoking skills and the way his influence came about on me. I think I make some good decisions, and I got that from him.
I'm probably most like my dad because a lot of people just tell me that I look like him.
Oh, great looking father. How about that? What do we got over here?
I'm most likely like my dad because I have his athleticness.
Oh, she's going D1 and pro. How about over here? Last one.
I'm most like my mom because my eyes.
I would say I'm most like my dad because we have like borderline OCD with like the things that we're passionate about. And we both have a pretty good sense of humor.
Looks like it's all love for Mom and Pop. We'll see you next time on Positively America. I'm Billy Floyd.
Thanks, Billy. We're loving that. All right, let's talk for a moment about something that I think is really important. We've all heard the expression, relax, just let go. It's natural to feel the need to control things. It makes us feel like we know what we're doing, and it gives us some sense of security. But control can also lead to frustration, especially when things don't go our way. So my advice is to take a break. Stop. Enjoy the happiness that you have. I know it sounds like an old cliche, easy to say, but so hard to do. Well, look at it this way. If you just let go, if you just surrender, you instantly increase your feeling of peace and relaxation. It helps you to be better prepared for whatever unexpected things come along. It also improves your connection with yourself and with other people. We hear a lot about mindfulness. Yes, we do. When you live in the moment, you can appreciate everything around you, and it allows you to regulate your emotions better. They say that success is getting what you want, but happiness is liking what you get. So take it from me. Be grateful. Review your life and the good things that you have, because you know what? It's all there. Just take the time to take a look. You'd be surprised what you'll find. I hope you like it. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Positively America. I'm Ernie Anastas. See you next time.